Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're talking Block stock, ticker symbol BLOK. As a disclaimer, this is not investment advice. This is just a research video that I put together meant to be educational as well as entertaining. We're going to take a look at the AMPLIFY ETF's holdings and understand why this ETF has become ever so popular as of recently. Thank you for your time. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. Please enjoy.
We're in a helicopter in Iceland over some fjords and lava flows on the way out to the Genesis Ethereum mine.
Marco Streng has made millions in cryptocurrency. He started mining Bitcoin in his dorm room. Nearly a decade later, the 28-year-old college dropout turned a single wheezing computer into a lucrative crypto mining empire.
What you're seeing here is the Enigma facility, which is the largest Ethereum mining facility in the world. And it was an exciting time. It was years ago when we came here and built this. And now we're expanding further and further because the demand is growing and everyone is ramping up the capacity.
If you have the money, you can always buy cryptocurrency. Last year, Bitcoin peaked at almost $20,000. Or you can earn it by running a cryptocurrency mine, a network of computers that serve as the backbone of the crypto economy.
What are these machines doing?
So those computers are miners. They are mining cryptocurrencies and they're validating the transactions on the blockchain. And they get a reward for that.
So if I pay somebody for something in a cryptocurrency, it's being validated potentially by one of these computers.
Yeah, that's true.
And when somebody makes that transaction, you validate it here in Iceland and you make money.
Yes.
How much does one of these cost to create? If I'm going to create one of these at home, one of these units.
$2,000.
And how many are in here, in this one warehouse here?
Tens of thousands. Yeah.
Tens of thousands.
Mining operations like Marco's were made possible by pseudonymous programmer Satoshi Nakamoto, who in 2009 created Bitcoin, a decentralized digital currency run by no one entity and beyond the control of any one government. But Nakamoto, whose true identity remains a well-guarded secret, faced an obvious problem. If no physical currency exists, who tracks the ownership of a digital coin? To solve this, he created the blockchain, software that records and stores information, like who owns a Bitcoin, on a decentralized ledger shared across millions of computers. It can't be changed, and it's nearly impossible to hack.
The big thing about mining in general is that it's not one single central entity that validates all the transactions. The miners all over the world are validating them.
So this server farm on this kind of moonscape of Iceland, this might replace a central bank.
It's not only replacing, actually, it's making a central entity obsolete.
Okay, so let's jump over to the AMPLIFY ETF's webpage real quick. And the Block ETF is AMPLIFY Transformational Data Sharing ETF. In other words, it's an actively managed ETF that is utilizing blockchain technology and companies associated with the mining of cryptocurrencies, whether it is the computing, whether it's the investing. So like Square, PayPal, Nvidia, Visa, NASDAQ, Microsoft, a lot of the AMD, a lot of the MicroStrategy is the #1 holding as of now. A lot of these companies, they are in the space of the hardware, the software, the technology that goes into blockchain and or mining cryptocurrencies. Let's take a look at Riot Blockchain.
Riot Blockchain, formerly known as Bioptics.
They were selling medical equipment. Now all of a sudden they're a blockchain company.
Do the normal shuffle, and there goes the stock.
The stock has soared more than 600% this year.
I'm not sure that this is actually a blockchain company, so you need to be careful.
Riot Blockchain in the news after it changed its name last October from Bioptics, a medical equipment company. The stock shot up from $8 to more than $40 over the next 2.5 months. It sounds somewhat like the kind of newly minted blockchain company the SEC might be interested in, as the agency's chairman testified at a recent congressional hearing.
Are you concerned that companies may be utilizing blockchain as a scheme to pump up their stock prices?
Nobody should think it's okay to change your name to something that involves blockchain when you have no real underlying blockchain business plan and try to sell securities based on the hype around blockchain.
We wanted to find out who was behind Riot Blockchain, but for weeks, no one would talk to us. So we decided to see if we could get answers here at the swanky Boca Raton Resort and Club in Florida. That's where Riot's annual shareholders meeting was set to take place. It would be an upscale setting for this upstart company, with red ink as far as their most recent quarterly report shows. But as we quickly learned, that annual meeting wasn't going to take place.
Twice, Riot Blockchain announced they were going to hold their annual shareholders meeting here at the Boca Raton Resort and Club. Twice, at the very last minute. In fact, the night before, they announced they were postponing the meeting. And in fact, the hotel tells us there was never a meeting room ever booked under the name Riot Blockchain.
So we drove to this nearby office building, trying to find Barry Honig. According to SEC filings, he may be the man behind the curtain. He was an early investor in Riot, back when it was Vinaxis, a medical testing company, and then eventually Bioptics. He led an activist move to replace the board, and he eventually won. The new board changed the name from Bioptics to Riot Blockchain.
Hello? Hi, Michelle Caruso Cabrera.
As the elevator door opened, in front of us, not Barry Honig, but this man, John O'Rourke, the CEO of Riot Blockchain. The same John O'Rourke who made news in December for selling about $869,000 worth of Riot stock just 2 months after the company changed its name. O'Rourke quickly closed the door. 5 minutes later, he emerged and agreed to talk to us, but only off camera. He said he was here for a meeting with Honig when we arrived and that we had just missed him. O'Rourke insisted that he does not work out of Barry Honig's office, even though we found him there. During that hour-long off-camera meeting, O'Rourke told us his Riot stock sale was merely to pay taxes on his restricted stock. And as to the sharp rise in shares of Riot, O'Rourke said that was unexpected and ridiculous. He also said he isn't worried about the SEC because we over-disclose. When asked about Riot's business model, he said it's a combination of strategic investments in crypto-related companies and that soon Riot would be mining Bitcoin. And as far as those no-show annual meetings, O'Rourke told us there wasn't a quorum of shareholders needed for a vote and that additional corporate actions were in the works that would require a shareholders meeting. O'Rourke repeatedly promised to talk to us on camera, as long as it was a week and a half later after some key announcements, and he would even come to New York to make it convenient. We took him at his word. His emails to us say the interview was confirmed, and I believe you will be impressed. In the meantime, we went looking for Barry Honig, because according to SEC filings, he once owned more than 500,000 shares, or more than 11% of Riot's common stock, which he bought before it was Riot. And that's not all. After winning his fight to change the board of directors, SEC filings show he accumulated another 700,000 new warrants, which he could convert to stock at $3.56 a share, and more than 700,000 promissory notes, which he could convert to stock at $2.50 a share. After the company changed its name to Riot Blockchain 7 months later, the stock soared to a high of $46.20. Since Honig wasn't at his office, we went to his home. That's when he finally called us back and said he would think about talking to us, but only if we left. Finally, Honig did agree to go on camera the following week while he was in New York, only to back out 2 hours later. But he did agree to talk to us by phone just 2 days ago. He downplayed his influence with Riot and John O'Rourke.
John O'Rourke himself, and he makes his own decisions. Okay.
In 2000, you were fined for $25,000 and suspended 10 days by FINRA for stock manipulation. and you're no longer a licensed broker. Do you still manipulate stocks?
The answer is no. Continue. I'm a successful investor. I'm a comfortable person. I don't need to work today. I have a beautiful family. I'm college educated, and I'm very comfortable. I'm very comfortable. The truth will come out.
Honig acknowledged he's done this before. 5 years ago, he and John O'Rourke were involved in another company that changed its business model to blockchain. That stock also skyrocketed. Today, it's trading around $2 a share. Oh, and it's changed its business model again to cloud computing for cars. We asked Richard Burns, a securities attorney, to review Riot's SEC filings.
When you look at Riot blockchain, do you see any red flags?
Yes. I see a company that has had a change of control of the board. I see a company...
Okay, look, I don't want to go through the entire interview. That was taken 3 years ago by CNBC. And of course, look, we're here on the management team. We see that some of these shady characters, perhaps, they've been removed, and thus far, Riot blockchain seems to be on the up and up, right? So I'm always willing to give companies, especially companies that I'm interested in, right? Riot blockchain, if they're, in the mining business of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, like that is something that is very, very attractive to me. So, I wanted to go and see, their management team. And so it seems that they've changed their ways. So let's continue on with the ETF. Okay, we are here on the Seeking Alpha block page and want to highlight just a few different things on the Seeking Alpha page. So the past year, we see that the ETF is up 173%. 6 months, it's up 100%. Very nice. 1 month, 30%. And then we see most recently, of course, right, like the market had a nice sell-off. The past week and a half, maybe going on 2 weeks, there's been a lot more red days and green days for sure in some of the companies, right? But I definitely see it as a good buying opportunity. So if you are a believer in this space, in the cryptocurrency space, and pretty much this is what the ETF is providing. It's providing a lot of, right, like we see here that the financials, the technology is what makes this holding break down into, it's very attractive that a lot of these companies are either big purchasers of cryptocurrency or they're in the hardware, software, the computing, the mining. I prefer, obviously, the company that is doing the computing for the cryptocurrency reward versus just a company that can just go and buy a huge block of cryptocurrency. If you're gonna invest in a company to do the heavy lifting for you, right? It's like a hedge. It's like a safer way, as some people see it. It's like a safe way to be in the cryptocurrency space. So with that being said, I think that it is nice to own an ETF, in my opinion, that can do some of that lifting for you versus starting a position in a certain cryptocurrency and then, going in through your technical analysis and getting in, and maybe you buy in the dips and you're a long time hodler and that's the way you play it. Everyone has their way of investing. So I just see this as an alternative, and I think it's pretty cool. We'll just take a quick look here at some of their competitors. So these ETFs and companies that are in this space seem to have, they're all pretty much, they're all expensive. Like the expense ratios, not one is below 0.5 percent. So, just kind of be aware of what you're buying and what you're getting into with this. You do pay for what they do, and there's no way going around that. So I think that cryptocurrency it's here to stay, and I think that relative to time and space that you can get in and feel comfortable depending on what you want to be a part of. If you want to be a part of a company that's doing the mining, or you want to be a part of the company that's actually just doing the heavy lifting for you, then that's where these ETFs shine, in my opinion. Let's continue. Okay, we are here in my trading view, taking a look at the most recent dividend report coming out in late December, early January, and we see that it's had a nice run And I think that this level right here around the high 40s, $47, $48, that level of support has been tested again, right? Where we're currently at, it got dropped down to the high 40s again before seeing a nice little rebound toward the end of last week. So I think anything can happen, right? This is, again, this isn't investment advice or anything like that. I'm just, again, showcasing a few different scenarios that could be played out. That high level of resistance around the $60 mark, if that level gets tested again, then I think that there could be a possible breakout. And, you know, this ETF is acting a lot like an individual stock with some of the companies, some of the names that are in it. You know, a lot of high movers, a lot of volatility in the names. But I think that if this level of resistance, I'm just making it out for myself in the high 50s and the low $60 range, that if it tests that level of resistance, right, if the stock moves sideways for a little bit and then it starts to surge, it tests that resistance, but if it makes that level of support, then I think that it could take off. So again, I think that $60 mark, if that level of resistance can get turned into a level of support, then I see it as a healthy sign, and I see it as a nice bull opportunity to get in and take off. However, there's also another scenario for a trend that I'm seeing from a tested level of support down in the high 30s and the low 40s, that if the trend line kind of goes into this ascension pattern, and I think that if the stock can follow this trend line, and whether it moves above it or below it, anytime it dips below that trend, I see it as a great buying opportunity again. And if it kind of stays within that trend, then it, again, is giving me signs of health. Okay, I'm going to leave it here. I want to thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. It helps people find the channel. It helps people find my content. If there's another ETF, IPO, or another company that you would like to see me research, just drop it in the comment section below. All right, y'all have a good week. Take care.